Welcome back to Atlanta and Company. I'm Holly Furfer. More and more calling customer service seems like calling customer disservice. Many of us dread calling them when we have questions or problems with our bills or orders. It's a maze of automated questions and irrelevant choices, all with annoying background music. I don't have to explain it to you. You know what I'm talking about. Well, this week, the shopping queen, Fatima Metakarimi, is here with some tips to help you get more service from customer service. Welcome back. And this, I know, bothers so many people. So let's just start with, before we even pick up the phone to call customer service, what should we do?
Well, try to avoid calling customer service. That's what I try to do.
Okay.
Now, more and more companies, especially the larger companies, the larger service providers, have a lot of their information and account management tools online. So visit their website, look under the help section, the customer service section online, and see, if there's any way that you can answer your own questions or solve your own problems.
And how do we avoid using the phone like a video game where you have to sit there on interminable, push this button, push that button, now go back to that button and push that? I mean, how do you avoid that?
Well, nowadays it actually is a little bit confusing because you've got the push button limbo and you've also got the voice activated limbo as far as, what do you say? Do you push buttons? Do you talk?
Don't say anything.
And then if you talk, it doesn't quite hear what you're saying and you have to repeat it over and over again. Well, a great secret, but the word is getting out, is the website called gethuman.com.
Okay.
That website has a long listing of a variety of different companies and how you can get to a human, whether it's how many times you have to press the number 0, the secret word that you have to say if it's voice activated, or other codes that you can enter. So it's a very extensive listing. So definitely visit that site prior to making your phone call to see what the secret password is for you to get to a human.
And I know oftentimes if I'm trying to reach somebody and I'll get on the phone and they'll say, your wait time is an average of 11 minutes. How do you avoid that? Is there a certain time of the day that you should call so that you don't have that long wait? Well,
there's a difference between getting your problem solved and the time of day that you call. Actually, you do want to call during the time that your wait is going to be the longest. I know that seems a paradox in terms there, but during the day is when they have the most people on staff, the most knowledgeable people on staff, but it's also the time that most people call. But you're most likely to get your problem solved during the day when other people are calling versus if you call after hours. So unfortunately, there's not too much of a way to get your wait time down, but it will help you if you call during the day to get your problem solved.
So if you call after hours, the disadvantages are?
If you call after hours, sometimes, first of all, there might not be after hours. Some companies are small that they don't have after hours, and then some actually outsource them to different countries. India is a popular example that calls get outsourced to. And when that happens, most of the time the representatives there don't have access to your entire account history, or they're very limited as far as what services they can provide you. So it's almost like you're wasting your time when you're calling after hours. Now, it's not the case 100% of the time. Sometimes you can get your calls, taken care of after hours, and sometimes they are, after hours call centers in the United States that are very helpful. But generally, calling during the day and just waiting through that waiting period is the best way to get your problem solved.
Now, what about, excuse me, when you finally get somebody and obviously you may have been on hold a while, you may have pushed a million buttons, and you may be really having a bad problem that you're dealing with. Your first reaction is just to scream and yell, and you just wanted that primal scream. Not a good idea?
Not a good idea. I say it's not therapy, save the venting for your therapist or for your friends. The customer service agent has probably heard it all before.
Right.
They don't want to hear it again. If it's the cable company and you missed the season finale of Desperate Housewives, they don't really care. So avoid the venting and just clearly and calmly state what your problem is.
Okay, now how do you get the best response from customer service? I mean, how do you really get them to help you?
Well, the first thing, as I mentioned, is to state your problem clearly and calmly, and then wait to see what customer service offers. And then before you actually make the call and know what you're going to be asking for, know that, what your ideal solution is. So be specific about what you want and know what you want before. So whatever customer service offers, you have a ready idea of am I going to take this offer or I'm not going to take this offer?
Okay.
For example, if you waited all day to get your sofa delivered and it arrives damaged, well, and you call customer service, they're probably just going to offer to quickly replace it with another one. But perhaps you want to ask for either getting a discount or a refund of the delivery fee. So have your ideal solution ready, prepared to offer to customer service, because they're most likely not going to offer the best solution for you. They're going to offer the best solution for them.
Okay. Now, what about when you're talking to somebody? Should you be documenting this conversation? What do you need to be writing down?
Well, they actually document everything, as you know. Sometimes they do a better job of documenting than other times, but you should be doing the same, whether it's just on that same bill that you have questions about or a separate notebook that you have, but you want to note the date that you called, who you spoke with, what the resolution was. So you want to have all that information, especially depending on how long of a time you're going to be spending with this problem. You want to have all that documentation with you. And unfortunately, it takes an average of 2 to 3 phone calls to resolve a lot of bill or credit card issues as well. So that documentation is very helpful.
Now, what if you reach an impasse where you just are calling and you don't have the resolution, or the person really can't help you to your satisfaction? What do you do?
Sometimes you just get a bad customer service agent or a good customer service agent on a bad day.
Yeah.
So my rule of thumb is after 2 phone calls, 2 people that you don't get your problem resolved, ask to speak to a supervisor. Depending on the company and depending on the level of empowerment of that supervisor, they may be able to solve your problem. Sometimes the supervisors just have more experience than the regular representatives, not necessarily too much more authority. So if you've tried all your ways of asking to speak to a supervisor, asking to speak to a manager, and you don't get to the resolution that you'd like, then just be polite. Don't be mean, because all of that is documented if you're,
hostile.
Exactly. And then just hang up the phone and get online and do some online searches for the actual corporate office of the company that you're trying to reach. And when you do find the corporate office, call and ask to speak to the head of operations or the head of marketing. Most likely you're not going to speak to the head of operations or marketing, but you will get to their office, and their office is very, very proactive about resolving your problems, and most of the time they will be resolved very quickly. You'll get quick phone calls back as far as updating you to the status of how everything is going, but it does require legwork on your part. So you have to decide if this problem is worth it or not.
And are there any other websites quickly that you can direct us to that would give you more consumer tips to help?
Surprisingly, a great source comes from Uncle Sam. It's consumeraction.gov. It's the Federal Citizens Information Center, if I'm remembering it correctly. And they have a consumer action handbook that every year they update. It has great tips in there, sample complaint letters, state resources, and you can actually order the book for free. No shipping cost, no cost for the book, and it's a nice big book that comes, and very surprising that Uncle Sam is giving that out for free. So
we'll take it. Thank you, Fatima. Such good information. We appreciate it very much. And if you want more great time and money saving tips, ideas, coupons, visit the Shopping Queen's website at theshoppingqueen.com. All right, later on Atlanta.